So we've been quarantined, or at least quarantined ourselves, and have been practicing social distancing for over a week. And I know this has been really tough with you all. I know when it started, I really thought that I would just be inside and be completely happy watching Netflix. But I found myself needing to be outside, to smell the fresh air and to see the birds, to look at the sky, to walk. I've been in touch with people, even downloaded an app to learn Spanish, just to stretch my mind a little bit, digging into ways that I can connect with you all and to worship in different ways and worship with my family. It's definitely been an interesting time. But this has reminded me a lot about faith, not only in regular times, but in times like this. When it comes to faith, we can't just sit still with where we're at in the journey. It's a journey, not just one point in time. So we are constantly going forward, maybe pausing, maybe going backwards, but we're in motion. And so the trick is that especially in times like this, we need to not just stay still with our faith. We need to be in prayer alone and with each other. We need to be doing our devotions and in scripture. We need to be with each other, virtually in worship and Bible study and our hangouts together. It's important to stay connected and to remember who we are. So I just wanted to have you all think about that. And think about how it is that you're exercising your mind and your spirit and your soul this week. Are you continuing the faith journey, or are you just sitting still? John chapter 6, verse 35 is a verse that I was thinking about. In it, Jesus is saying that he is the bread of life, and that anyone who comes to him won't be hungry or won't be thirsty. And I think that's important for us to remember these days. And instead of leaning on ourselves and leaning on Netflix, it's important to lean into our faith and to lean on Jesus and to seek ways to grow in our faith, to not just be isolated. It doesn't mean that we won't have tough days. It doesn't mean that we can't be scared or have questions, but it does mean that we can find answers through Jesus. So, your challenge this week, as we start another week, is to read John 6:35 and to think about that this week. Memorize it, think about it, and think about ways that you are growing in faith. How is it that you're leaning into Jesus and trusting in Jesus for your hunger and thirst, for your questions, for your doubts, for your worries, instead of leaning and only trusting on ourselves or in things to numb what's going on. I love you all, and I'm thinking about you, and we'll continue to be in touch. Let me pray. God, thank you so much for all of your children. We just ask that you would be with us in these times. It's so scary, and sometimes we are disappointed, and there's just so much unknown. And we just ask that you would help us to lean into you and to go to you, to grow in our faith, to get together as communities, to not be isolated. Amen.